So Andrea asked a really great question. She said, is there a specific time frame that equates to consistency, like a specific number or percentage? So consistency, and this is not part of this session, so I'm just going to go ahead and comment on this. But consistency to IFM coaching, okay, is really what you do over a 90-day time period. Okay, and that's really what we're looking at. Now you can shorten it down to 1 month, 2 months, or whatever, but we actually have a phase that we take our clients through, and it's called the consistency phase, right? So in the consistency phase, that is where we're trying to maintain a certain execution level of certain habits for 90 days. Okay. Because if you can hold that, you can, do, twice a week of exercise or 3 times a week of exercise, and you've definitely done it, and you've held that over 90 days, then we can say that you are consistent. Right now, your goal might be to be consistent at 5 days a week, but week after week, month after month, you've only done 3 days a week. Okay. What we can say is you are not consistent at 5 days a week, but you are consistent at 3 days a week, because we had that 90-day time frame of looking at it. Okay. As far as the execution rate, there are certain execution rates. So, for example, on the IFM coaching program, one of the things that we do is we track and monitor your habits. And there's very specific habits that we want. And each habit has its own specific execution rate of where we need you to be. And so usually we start at about 70%. So if you can be at 70% execution rate on these habits that we put down, then we know that you are consistent. We know that you're doing it. But again, that's just a number that we use. Truthfully, if you're consistent at 50% for 90 days, then you're at 50% consistency. And then we kind of have to look at that and say, okay, you're consistently at 50% execution rate for 90 days. Okay. So it really depends on how you want to look at it. But I'll give you an example. I'll give you a very specific example instead of giving you these broad range ones. Okay. So again, we go back to the 90-day. We want to see what you can be consistent at for 90 days. Okay. Now, let's just look at breakfast, for example. Okay. And let's say that we were tracking your breakfast and whether you were eating a healthy breakfast or if you were not eating a healthy breakfast. Okay. Ideally, we'd want you at about 70% execution rate and hold that over 9 months, or excuse me, 90 days. Okay. So 70% execution rate and hold that over 90 days. So that means 70% of the time you are eating a healthy breakfast. Okay. That puts you in that first range of just being a healthy person because you're eating a healthy meal 70% of the time. Okay. Now, if you want to get results, okay, and you're really looking at, hey, I want to get results, I want to do the best I can, then we need that execution rate to be at 85% or above. And we need you to hold that for 90 days. Okay. So that 90-day mark is a really, really big time frame. Okay. I bet the percentages help track consistency with meals and getting results. Yes, that is why we do it. And that is why we track everything. And that's why we look at the percentage of execution rate, because we know that when a person is at a particular execution rate, there is a 100% chance they are going to get results. Okay. And so we have those numbers, and it matters for those habits or whatnot as well. So very, very good question, Andrea.